Hi guys, and thanks for watching. I'm Jessie Sage and I'm here with a fragrance review for you today. I'm going to be reviewing YSL Paris. This is a fragrance that was hugely popular and even slightly overdone in its heyday of the 1980s. So nowadays it's a little bit overlooked and it's like a hidden gem for rose lovers like me. So if you love roses and you love perfume, get yourself a little cup of tea and find out about YSL Paris. The version I'm going to be reviewing for you today is the Eau Du Toilette, and that is in 2.5 ounce. And it comes in this gorgeous box, which I saved just to show you guys because it was so pretty. And I'll get a close-up for you as well later. But the nice thing I thought about this box is how, of course it's YSL, so it has just these beautiful luxury touches that make you feel special. So when you open it, it also has this flap on the inside, and it's gold and embossed, and it's just so beautiful. And then you open it up to the box and the fragrance is in there. So that's what that looked like. Regarding the fact that I chose the Eau Du Toilette is because this is a very, very strong fragrance and it's known for being a very strong fragrance. And so I didn't want to go with the Eau de Parfum because that is much stronger. And so I wanted to see if I could make this perfume a little bit more wearable. And so that's why I chose the Eau de Toilette, and I would recommend that you do that as well because it's still very, very strong. I usually actually only wear about one spray of this. This fragrance was created in 1983 for Yves Saint Laurent by Sophia Grossman. Sophia Grossman is a really famous perfumer, so I wrote down just a few of the sister fragrances to this fragrance. She actually has a huge list of fragrances she's made, but some of the ones that you might have smelled or might love are Lancôme Trésor, Estée Lauder White Linen, and Estée Lauder Beautiful. She also made YSL Parisienne, which is a later version of this one, and then Bulgari Parfum. So since she is famous for her love of roses, I feel like this is maybe the perfect one to try. After this, I'll tell you what it really smells like to me, but the notes that are specifically listed are violet, bergamot, orange blossom, rose, sandalwood, and amber. So now that you know all of the details, what does it actually smell like? The ad campaign for this fragrance shows a beautiful woman who's sort of dreamy and soft-focus, holding a huge bouquet of fresh roses, and in the background, out of focus, is the Eiffel Tower. That image for me sort of perfectly evokes what this fragrance smells like, but it's not because of what you might think. It's not the smell of the girl in the poster, it's actually the smell of the whole place around her. So I imagine that just before she arrived at the Eiffel Tower with her flowers, she walked through a busy farmer's market and there was a flower stall full of all these roses and there were foods, there were all these things, fresh air, sunshine, and all different kinds of roses, and there were vials of maybe rose water or rose oil in another stall nearby. So to me it's as if for every flower in the bouquet there's a different rose accord that emerges. This fragrance is slightly unique to me in that it doesn't change a lot as I wear it. It's pretty much rose through and through, although a few other notes do emerge. But what really emerges throughout time is just different types of rose. Some of the different rose forms that it takes are rose water, Turkish delight, pressed roses that are in between the pages of an old book, fresh roses, and even the greenery, the stems that come along with it, French rose soap that you would find in a lovely hotel, and even a little bit of face powder, maybe the face powder that the girl in the poster was wearing. What time period does this fragrance evoke? Many will say that this fragrance is forever tied to the 1980s when it was hugely famous and you could smell it almost everywhere. But for me, because there are so many different types of rose in this fragrance, it's really flexible. On me, I feel like this smells a little bit more 1880s than 1980s. It has a wistful, old-timey quality, but it also has a freshness, so it's really up to you. I will admit there is something in this fragrance that reminds me of a fragrance that my grandmother wore. I can't quite put my finger on it, and I'll have to ask my family members a little bit more about what fragrances she wore because it's not the exact fragrance for sure, but there's just something occasionally that emerges and I get just a quick whiff of it and it makes me really happy. What occasion would I recommend wearing this perfume for? I like to actually apply it after a bath or shower because it does have such a fresh, clean rosewater effect. So it's almost like spraying on a rosewater that just lasts longer and has more roses in it. Personally, I love to wear this for day with floral cotton dresses, and I like to apply it spray it once in the air and just walk through so that it gets on the cotton of the dress. It's really nice because when you move you can kind of smell it, and it's sort of just like this like spring breeze all around you. For night, I'd love to style this with a long sleeve velvet dress. I don't have one, but I just think it would look so beautiful with some sparkly diamond earrings and an updo. I'd probably feel like Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman when she's going out to dinner. But again, this fragrance is really flexible, and the way that it comes off is all up to you, how you wear it and how you style it. Where I apply this fragrance. I apply this fragrance very sparingly, even though it is in the Eau Du Toilette form. So one way that I like to apply it is I just spray it into the air onto my hair as a hair mist. That gives my hair just such a fresh feeling, and it also, if I don't want the perfume to come off as strongly, since it isn't on my skin and working with the heat of my skin and being warmed up, it doesn't bring out as much of the depth of the perfume. So that's a little tip if you want it to be a little bit lighter, use it as a hair mist. I already told you guys how I like to do the classic fancy lady, spray it and walk into it, or I'll just do one spray, usually just on my upper wrist arm thing. One tip I like to do, if you want to wear it out at night and you want to make it a little bit dirtier, kind of cooler, going to a more modern bar or club, is I like to mix it with my Agent Provocateur Eau de Parfum. I'll layer one spray of this underneath, and then I'll add the Paris over top, so that first is emerging these fresh clean roses, and then underneath, this is a very rose fragrance as well, but it has a lot of exotic and muskiness to it, so that kind of makes it a little bit sexier. As far as gender or age recommendations for this fragrance, I don't really believe in those for perfume or style, but this is obviously a very feminine and inspired by the color pink fragrance, so anyone who wants to add a touch of femininity can spray that on. And as far as age, it really could lean young or old depending on how you style it. That wraps up this video, guys. Please let me know down in the comments what you'd like to see me review next. And thank you so much to Notino.com for making this video possible. This bottle's listed on Notino right now for $52, and the original list price is $87. So it's getting to be almost 50% off at that point. So if you guys are looking for any fragrances or beauty products, definitely check them out because they have the best prices on the web and the best shipping too. I hope you'll share this video with a perfume lover and subscribe here on my channel so you don't miss anything from me. Until my next video, you can visit me on my website, jessiesage.com.